Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this discussion about the marketplace, or more appropriately, the market. So what is the market? Most people think of it as the place where we buy and sell goods, but I'm going to use a much broader definition. I will eventually want to make the point that the market is everything. Physics has to deal with the market. The exchange of energy on a chemical level, on an atomic level, is the market. Anytime you have any exchange of information or energy, it is some kind of market exchange. I will appreciate any questions. I will try to answer them as best I can. So, with that, let us get going. Here's where I'll start. Chemistry. So, chemistry, as I've briefly stated, or stated in a roundabout way, chemistry is, in my mind, a brilliant example of market functions. The chemical world is a marketplace that is governed by the supply of and demand for electrons. Different elements come together to form market relationships and in the process create molecules, which lead to the development of most everything we know today, aside from electromagnetic radiation and stuff like that. But even that, has to do with particles in a roundabout sort of way. But my main point is that the chemical world is a marketplace facilitating the exchange of energy between atomic particles. And it is for this reason that I will say that my definition of the market is in the transference of energy or information from one entity to another. So let's move away from chemistry for now. I've defined two different types of marketplaces. The exploitative market is defined by me as the involuntary transference of resources or goods or information for the benefit of one entity at the expense of another. Here are a few examples. The relationship between the lion and the gazelle is an exploitative or parasitic market exchange. The lion wants, or rather needs, the food, but the gazelle desperately tries to avoid participation in this exchange of energy that the lion needs in order to continue living. The cost for the gazelle is ultimate. Interesting note that the thinning of the herd contributes to the evolution of the gazelle, and also in subtle ways to the evolution of the lion. See, these things, market exchanges, they're never quite so simple and straightforward as we would like to imagine. There are pros and cons that will manifest themselves through time on every single exchange, but the main thing to remember is that at the time of the market exchange, exploitative and symbiotic has to deal with whether it's voluntary or not between the entities that are participating at that particular time. Another example, the Venus flytrap and a fly. The flytrap hoodwinks the fly, like it's, kind of lying to it or intentionally misleading it into landing upon its evilness. So it hoodwinks the fly and the fly becomes an involuntary snack. But my personal favorite example of the exploitative market is imperialism. Say a group of relatively powerful humans forcefully coerce a relatively feeble group of humans into trading with them. Often, the less powerful group is threatened with violence or death for not participating in the exchange. So when I say trading here, trading is, think of it as in quotations, because it's not really trading. True trading has to do with the symbiotic market, or the free market, as it is commonly referred to. I call it the symbiotic market because of the way I define it. So myself and others have defined the free market as the voluntary exchange of legitimately acquired resources, or goods and services, for the intended benefit of both entities, or the incidental benefit of both entities. So, what do I define as a legitimately acquired resource? That would be something that you have exerted energy in order to achieve or acquire. Say, as a bird exerts energy toward the end of achieving food in the form of buggity bugs or seeds and stuff like that. A beaver exerts energy toward the end of building a lodge and a dam, so that lodge or dam would belong to that beaver. A honeybee builds a hive, therefore it belongs to the hive collectively, of course. But, another issue. An ant builds an anthill mound tunnel network home thingy. So, ecology and ecological evolution especially is a marketplace. In fact, the human marketplace of goods, or the economy, is evolutionary ecology under a microscope. And I'll repeat that for clarity. The economy is evolutionary ecology under a microscope. So, some examples of the symbiotic market. A bee, and other insects as well, have established a symbiotic market relationship with plants, and more precisely their flowers. Flowers get pollinated as they want, and the bugs get the nectar that they want. Both have, quote-unquote, voluntarily participated in this exchange. Otherwise, why would the flowers have evolved to attract the bugs, and the bugs have evolved to be attracted to the flowers? When the plant no longer wishes, quote-unquote, to engage in this transaction, the flower will close up or will wilt. Plants and other animals also have a symbiotic relationship in the form of the food-fertilizer cycle thingy. Plants intake carbon dioxide and refine oxygen through photosynthesis, and animals intake oxygen and exhale carbon dioxide through respiration. This is a symbiotic market. A beautiful, I might add, symbiotic market. Also, animals eat plants, and other things of course, and crap out fertilizer. Plants eat the fertilizer and produce more plants. This is largely a symbiotic relationship, one that has allowed for life as we know it today, and also, I suspect, what fueled the Cambrian explosion. Yes, that is a thesis of mine. Once this wonderful relationship between plants and animals evolved, involving respiration, photosynthesis, fertilizer, and crap, and, food like that, that is what fueled the Cambrian explosion. So, to continue on, when it comes to humans, the free or symbiotic market is only a relatively recent development. We have, as humans, always enjoyed just waltzing in and swiping what we want from others, or using other forms of forceful coercion such as war and or threats of harm to get what we want. Throughout the vast majority of human history, we have engaged in exploitative market practices in the way of subjugating those whom we deemed to be of lesser importance. The other quote-unquote savage peoples, dirty peasants, etc., we often rationalized our exploitation of them. Oh, we're protecting them, or something of that nature. Let's talk about capitalism for just a second. And I feel I should mention that it is not what most people think it is. It is not a system wherein those with the most wealth use their wealth and their power and influence to subjugate and oppress those with less. That would be an exploitative market. Capitalism is about the private ownership of earned property and the freedom to choose what you wish to do with that property. What exists today in America is only the skeleton of capitalism. The rest of it has been eaten away by bureaucracy and politicking, which is honestly a reversion back to ancient pre-civilization human impulses that involve tribalism and an elitist entitlement mentality. Entitlementality. The oligarchy that exists in America today could certainly be thought of as a symbiotic relationship, but it is a symbiotic relationship between the government and certain businesses and excludes the vast majority of people, and is therefore not truly a capitalism. The use of force that a government can exert over its citizenry nullifies the power of the free or symbiotic market. Remember, the free market is not about force. It's about choice and the private ownership of property. Any sort of coercive tactics render the free market inoperable. As always, I wish to hear your thoughts and opinions. Leave me a comment. I want to discuss these greatly important topics with other people because I truly believe that they are absolutely essential for the betterment of mankind. So leave me a comment again and let me know what you think. Have a pleasantly wondrous and a wondrously pleasant day. Goodbye.